So we can know that Xal'atath and N'Zoth made a deal to free themselves, but in the new questline from 11.1.7, we've learned that this bargain was made even before the Titans arrived to Azeroth. N'Zoth was building something so bad in Ny'alotha that Xal'atath attacked him for it, but when she was defeated and imprisoned, she whispered to him so they can share their power. We've known that the Titans didn't truly cleanse Azeroth. There was something they had to hide beyond the waves. Ny'alotha is known as the Sleeping City, very likely referring to Azeroth's world soul sleeping, but it is also known as the Sunken City, which, as you may know, it is super relevant right now, as there seems to be much more under the sea than we had previously believed. Did N'Zoth build some type of an engine, mechanism to do something with the world soul, and is he now going to help Xal'atath use it? You can actually play War Within on your phone with Awesome, this video's sponsor. Check in on your characters or just play the game, as you can control your PC with your phone completely free. Awesome is super easy to use. Check out the link, download the PC and the phone app and just connect it. The free version itself is amazing. You can control your desktop, transfer files, but the real deal is the game version. It has custom keyboards for various games other than just WoW, and you can enjoy AFK gaming at any time, anywhere with game sound. Make sure to use my code Doron to get 7 days completely free, only for the first 200 people. Startable Gaming is they got hot sales up to 40% off on Pro and game versions. Check out Awesome. So something quite unexpected happened in 11.1.7, which really has been foreshadowed for a while, and really I've been talking about it for years at this point, but we got first-on, hands-on reveal on what Xal'atath really is, and not only is she not an old god, but she actually warred with them, and they united to fight her, which is unlike their nature, in order to capture her in that dagger that we will later dig out. What is really interesting though, is that we learned that N'Zoth built something in Ny'alotha that was so bad. Xal'atath sent her Void army, but despite that, she decided to whisper only to him out of all the old gods to make a bargain. Now, here is something you need to keep in mind for the context. So, the time travel scenario we get is based on a tablet that Lore Walker Show translated, and it depicts the events that happened in crazy ancient history. This is way pre-Titan era because we see the 4 known old gods to be alive. Most importantly, we see Y'Shaarj, which was said to be the strongest of all the old gods, and this is evident because he's the one that seems to be leading them. He's the one giving the final verdict to Xal'atath. As you may know, Y'Shaarj was destroyed by Amantul when they had invaded Azeroth. So here, we're talking events very likely pre-peak Black Empire, even before the Black Empire was established. Here, I want to mention something that really, finally now starts to make sense. Did you ever wonder, what was the point of this supposed Black Empire? Remember the known lore, the Void Lords created old gods to send them across other planets to corrupt world souls, because Void Lords are so strong they cannot literally manifest themselves in the material plane. We know other old gods also exist on other planets. However, why are the old gods building cities and empires instead of just doing their job? Well, I'm almost certain this is why Xal'atath attacked him, and at this point, it is almost certain they had rebelled against their masters. We've known this for years based on a Blizzard interview from Dragonflight, but we were told that the old gods had strayed from the path. This now confirms it, as Xal'atath arrives with a pure void army, and she's a pure void being, but the old god forces say they can't do anything against their enhanced forms. I can't say this for certain right now, but I'm almost certain Azeroth gave them free will and enhanced their forms. Maybe the enhanced forms come from them using Azeroth, but we know for a fact that Azeroth is definitely responsible for free will. She did it so many times to the Titan Forge that she broke the Titan rule just through that. So very likely when the old gods dug too deep, she started giving them free will, and the old gods realized, what are we even doing? I mean, why would we sacrifice ourselves to empower the Void Lords when we could become stronger than them by a significant margin? Keep in mind, they're in control of the strongest power source in existence, which is Azeroth's world soul. So they rebelled, and Xal'atath was sent as a punitive expedition, but as you can see, she really was no match for their enhanced forms, as they defeated her easily. However, this is not the end of the story. Xal'atath wasn't just a brute force sword of the Void Lords. I think she figured out the old gods. As you can see, they united to defeat her, but she decided to create a bargain in this beyond ancient history so that she can do what she's doing right now, which brings us to the question. why N'Zoth, what is going on, and what is really their bargain. So the news story says that N'Zoth was building something in Ny'alotha, and I honestly think this is key. I've talked about this so many times in the past, but there must be a reason we are getting the horrific visions right now, why Ny'alotha is relevant once again. You may remember this place from BFA. This was like an alternate reality where the old gods won. However, the place was called the Sleeping City, the Waking City, the Dreaming City, most importantly, the Sunken City. The sleeping part made sense at the time, as we thought this was like a bad dream, like a nightmare where the old gods won, but I think at this point in time it refers to Azeroth's nascent soul. However, the Sunken City never made sense because it wasn't really sunken. I mean, we were there, but it wasn't under the sea. The point I'm trying to make is that Ny'alotha could literally be where Khaz'akar is, and it could potentially be that void sea under the sea. It could be related to all the old god blood, and N'Zoth's true prison may actually be here. Remember, despite the fact that we defeated him, we never saw his true prison where he really was, and I think this could now be the bargain that he made with Xal'atath. Of course, we can only speculate what N'Zoth was trying to build that pissed Xal'atath off so much. I think he might have built some sort of an engine, kinda similar to Sergeras, what he built for his army, that would empower the old god forces, that would allow them to siphon the power of Azeroth for themselves. It would make sense that a world tree would be planted in this place, then a titan prison would be built after. I've been talking about this for a long time, but Khaz'akar is a very important place. It is where Azeroth's soul is, at least the entrance. As the Titans decided to build a world core here, almost certainly the old gods also built some sort of machinery there as well that Xal'atath tried to destroy, but then the Titans ultimately succeeded in just hiding it because they couldn't destroy it. However, what is really interesting though is that Xal'atath attacked N'Zoth, but then decided to make a bargain with him out of all the other old gods. Previously, she was whispering to us that only one can survive to consume the planet, that N'Zoth was the smartest of them, despite being the weakest. I think the point might have been that N'Zoth was the most ambitious. After all, he was the last one to survive, and an old god that was defeated only a few years back. However, the point I'm trying to make is that maybe the bargain never really ended, and there is a reason we are revisiting the horrific visions of N'Zoth. Blizzard literally told us we are revisiting this scenario because something similar is going to happen soon, and we need to learn the lessons from BFA to remind ourselves. The bargain on first glance was that Xal'atath would bring us where he would free her from the blade and she would help free him, but I think there could be more to it. As I previously said, we never really figured out where his true prison is. It was always alternate realities, teleportations and such. Seeing that he's an undersea figure, it would totally make sense that his place would be exactly where Khaz'akar is. If you follow the hints, you may have seen that the Nerubians are gathering all these old god parts, tentacles, eyes and such, and doing something in the labs, and there is also a whole lot of blood. Could this be a part of N'Zoth, and are they trying to build him back? I mean, it is definitely hard to say with anything for certain right now, but just think about it. The old gods may have rebelled originally and N'Zoth built something, but he may have realized that maybe he should turn back to the void. After his fellow old gods are defeated, he's the only one that remains, and now he may be able to absorb all this power that is left over. He might be able to get more power by being the sole old god as opposed to just sharing it with his peers, and now Xal'atath wants to use that ancient mechanism that he built in Ny'alotha for the void plans, and he will help her while she revives him. Of course, there is so much in between here where we can't really say anything for certain, but us just knowing what it was that he was building would actually be huge, of course. My personal opinion, based on the fact that it is known as the Sleeping City or the Dreaming City, is that it is something related to the nascent world soul, and that he built some sort of a mechanism to siphon her power, similar to the Titan prison. We were previously told the Titans lied when they said they ordered Azeroth, and that they hid something terrible beyond the waves. Ny'alotha is also known as the Sunken City, so beyond the waves, under the sea, maybe the Titans couldn't deal with this mechanism, they couldn't revert it or do anything to fix it, and that is why they just hid it, swept it under the rug, sealed it away so that no one can get to it. Xal'atath knew about it though. She can now use it for the good of the void. This mechanism might be what gave them empowered forms and what allowed them to defeat Xal'atath in the first place, and what helped their entire rebellion. So could this really be the true bargain? Not just free me so that I can free you, but they plan to use this ancient N'Zoth mechanism to bring on Midnight and everything void related that is about to happen. I think there's definitely a reason why they decided to foreshadow this bit in this time travel scenario, and this, when we learn what it is, could change everything we had previously known about the old gods. Thank you for watching. Check out how the War Within was supposed to be the last WoW expansion by clicking on the screen, and check out my Histories channel by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.